Aerodactyl may be the coolest fossil Pokemon, but is it actually good in Gen 1? I loved Aerodactyl's look as a kid. Who wouldn't love this rocky pterosaur design? It is an example of fossils always getting the rock type even if they don't look the part. This is especially disappointing since Aerodactyl doesn't get any rock type moves to match. I guess this is the theme for these Gen 1 fossil Pokemon. It does at least get a stab move with Wing Attack, even though this move only has 35 base power in these games. At least the rock type is helpful for the early game, like for this Eevee, since there are a lot of normal types to deal with. I decide to fight the rival on Route 22 before heading to Viridian Forest. This may seem like a strange decision, since beating Blue here means he picks Jolteon, who will be very good against Aerodactyl. However, I think Magneton is a bigger issue. I am just planning to KO Jolteon with Hyper Beam later on. It doesn't have great defense, so I think it's possible. Plus, Aerodactyl has enough speed to not have any issue moving first. After that battle, I pick up all the normal items from the mart, speed through the catching tutorial, and then clear all the bug catchers in the forest. These are quick fights to get some much needed experience. Unlike the other Gen 1 fossils, Aerodactyl is in the slow experience growth group. This really hurts since it means it takes more training to get to the level it needs for a given battle. Even after beating all the bugs, it's only level 10 when I enter the Pewter Gym. I then take on the Light Years trainer to get an additional level before Brock. I do this because even though Aerodactyl has incredible attack and speed stats, it just doesn't have an effective move for the rock hard gym leader. In this fight, I am very grateful for the rock typing. Luckily for Aerodactyl, Brock uses only Tackle and Bind as his attacking moves, both normal type. It's not an easy fight by any means. I can still lose if I get unlucky with defense drops or critical hits. And I have two frustratingly slow resets here. But eventually, our Pterodactyl can get the luck it needs and take Onix down. From there, Route 3 is a breeze. I can fly through all these trainers to get to Mount Moon. Here I do fight the Bug Catcher and Grasslass instead of the Super Nerd with the Magnemite and the Voltorb. Electric Pokemon could be an issue since Wing Attack is not a great move against them. They do resist it after all. It does make me a little nervous about Lieutenant Surge later on. I don't have a good level up move before him. The Fossil Nerd and Team Rocket are not a problem at all, and that brings Aerodactyl to Cerulean. It does have Misty to deal with soon, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I am a little bit worried that she will be really tough, so we're going to put her off as long as possible. With its typing and a stab move, the battle against Blue is easy as could be. I don't have access to any special moves until the late game, but Wing Attack does enough damage for now. A lot of these early battles are just using Wing Attack over and over until we take a win. There's not really a lot of options besides that. After Blue runs away crying, we barrel through all the trainers on Nugget Bridge. Once they are beaten, we can get our Charmander. Today, I'm naming both of my HM users after members from Telestial Gaming. Charmander is named Caitlin. I'm currently doing a Soul Link Nuzlocke run in Crystal with Edwin from their channel, so go check that out for some randomized chaos. Kabuto and Ammonite really struggled with grass-type trainers, but Aerodactyl has no problems here and can get to Bill without any headache. This time, the lass on the end of Route 25 is not a problem. I am too scared of Misty to try her now though. She definitely has the type advantage and I don't think I could win it. So I decided that we should just head to Vermilion and complete the SS Anne instead. I wasn't surprised to see that Aerodactyl, like many other flying types, doesn't get access to Body Slam. I can still pick up Rest and the other items, but not having a new move really hurts with the gym challenges coming up. Since I'm still stuck with Wing Attack, that's all I can really do against Blue here as well on the SS Anne. I did teach Bide earlier, but I haven't had a reason to use it yet. Bide can be good in a pinch, but it's not good for consistency, and it leaves you open to get knocked out if you're not careful. However, I do think it might be crucial for Surge later. I pick up Cut and let the SS Anne sail away. At this point, Aerodactyl is only level 23, and I was aiming for 25 before fighting Misty. I head east from Vermilion to fight a bunch of trainers here and pick up the bike voucher before heading to Cerulean. Aerodactyl has an incredible 25.39% chance to crit in Gen 1. This really helps for tricky fights like Misty, so this fight is actually pretty quick. I got lucky that she didn't hit a huge bubble beam, but that's one of the tough gyms down at least. There's still one more to go. I bike back to Vermilion to fight Surge, and it doesn't go well. Thunderbolt easily knocks out Aerodactyl in a single hit. There's only a 1 in 5 chance for him to use this move, but it happens 3 fights in a row. For now, I can actually move on and come back to this badge later. I don't want to just keep resetting here, and it's not required until we want to use Fly. So back we go to Cerulean, and I hop on my bike to head east toward Rock Tunnel. Aerodactyl has no real threats on this route, even the Slowpoke trainers don't take it down. They don't have any water moves, only confusion. There is, however, one problem that I don't have a good answer for. In my testing, I found that the self-destructing hiker was not a problem if Aerodactyl used Rest, but at the end of the game, I ran out of move slots and I would have to unlearn Rest to finish the run. This move is often crucial for the champion, and it made me extremely nervous not having a way to get it back at that point. So I tried the hiker without it. If the Geodudes just use self-destruct, then Aerodactyl is fine. But Rock Throw is not what we want to see. The longer they take to use self-destruct, the worse it is. I take 3 more resets here, and then I decide to level up to 28 to give Aerodactyl more damage, and see if the added stats help for this fight. I also finally get a chance to use Bide to my advantage, tank some self-destructs, and get past this guy to finally escape from the cave. That means we made it to the mid-game. A little bruised and discouraged, but still aiming to beat the time set by Kabuto and Ammonite at least, although Kabutops and Amistar might have something to say about that. I do pick up Swift briefly here, as well as the TM for Double Edge and some vitamins. There's no Rock Slide today for our Pterosaur, but let me know if you would like to see a future run with its Mega Form in red version. It would rock. At least we do pick up Fly, which is why I didn't need a Pidgey for this run. This is kind of the best flying type move in Gen 1. Sky Attack does more damage, but leaves you vulnerable for a turn, which is not great. But I can't fly yet. To do that, I need to go beat Surge. In the first attempt back, I get unlucky and take a Thunderbolt. But Aerodactyl survives, on only 2 HP though. And then I do the dumbest play and use Double Edge again, knocking myself out. Ouch. As long as none of that happens, it's really an easy battle. Now we can soar through the sky back to Lavender to fight Blue in the Pokemon Tower. Of course, this battle is easy breezy since Aerodactyl is level 30. Oh, wait. A crit from Shelter is still rough. Anyways, now armed or winged with Fly and Double Edge means that it has incredible damage and can take use of that 105 base attack. Flying moves also hit ghosts, so it's a sure knockout for those too. After clearing the rest of Pokemon Tower and getting the flute from Mr. Fuji, I can head back to Celadon. Since I have the type advantage, I decide to bike down to Erica's gym and try to take her on now. That would mean we don't have to backtrack later. I maybe could have trained here as well, but I just went straight for the gym leader. Tangela doesn't do much damage, but the other two shouldn't even get the chance to try. I do get to level 33 in this fight, which means I finally have my first level up move, but it's only Supersonic, so it's not really useful at this point. Maybe it would have been nice for Surge or for Brock, but I knock out Vileplume and I can take the win. After that, it's time for a bike ride. I take the chance to train up here as well on the bike route. Aerodactyl needs a lot of experience to get to the level we need for the Sylph rival fight. Cloyster and Jolteon both have moves that can deal a lot of damage, so I want to get a high enough level to knock them out without issue. I beat most of the bikers on the route and then I realized that I forgot to get Squirtle. I fly back right away so I can get it. I named Squirtle Steve. Thank you so much, Steve, for the support and the compliments. You are awesome. I then need to go and pick up a bunch of items in the Safari Zone. I want to get as much stat experience as possible since I don't do these runs with perfect DVs. Here are the ones I had today. The attack and special are high, but defense and speed are downright awful. After getting Surf, I can head to Saffron City. First, I will clear the path through the Sylph building by beating all the mandatory trainers, as well as a few others that give decent experience. I still need more experience after I made it through all these battles, so I cleared the Fighting Dojo as well. All these teams give good stat experience and could help for the rest of the game. Even with that training, Aerodactyl's level is not high enough. I can delay the rival a little longer and go beat Koga's gym first. He does have a team of special attackers, but with Fly, I have super effective damage and an incredible speed stat to always move first. His team is a series of one-hits, but with a crit on Venomoth. I'm not sure if that was needed, but it was certainly nice. Let's fly back to Sylph and finally try the fight against Blue. Aerodactyl is barely level 42, which is a little higher than some Pokemon need here, but it's not great because of that slow experience growth rate. Its damage is good at this level, but another crit from Cloyster takes it out. I use 3 rare candies and try again. I go into the next fight with a plan. I can set up agility in order to get some badge boosts at Ninetales before taking on the rest of the team, since it can't do a lot of damage to me. This should help some, but since I don't have Blaine's badge yet, I won't get a special boost. I maybe should have gone to him first. I take a ton of damage from Aurora Beam before knocking out the Cloyster. Kadabra is not a problem since I outspeed and have an easy one-hit, but I don't have a good way to take down the Jolteon. Double Edge would deal too much damage back to me in recoil, so I try Bite to get a flinch. It doesn't work. I try again and it plays out exactly the same, except I get that flinch, and then Aerodactyl can finish the fight. That was kinda lucky. I think that fighting Blaine or getting a few more levels would have made that better. After Blue, I always fight Giovanni here in Sylph, and this is often a very easy fight. His Rhyhorn today is a little annoying since we don't have a special move yet. We will get Fire Blast at Blaine, which should help with all these rock types, even though it's not very effective. It should hit decently hard. But Aerodactyl does a ton of damage and can easily beat Giovanni. After that, I can go pick up Mimic from the Copycat Girl. This is going to be very important for the league, after which we can head to Sabrina. Aerodactyl will be faster than Sabrina's team, and it should hit really hard. The only thing I'm worried about really is if she sets up any X defense or somehow survives a hit. I don't get my accuracy dropped, which is good, but an X defend after I use Fly does mean Kadabra can survive. Luckily, it doesn't do a ton. Another X defend on Alakazam means it also survives. I go for Double Edge, it doesn't do a lot, and then a crit from Psychic takes me out. What I learned there is as long as she doesn't use 2 X defense in a row, I should be fine. I could also just use Double Edge and skip the turn in the air. It would probably make it more consistent. But the crit on the Alakazam at the end bypasses that setup, so it works out anyway. Now I can finally surf down to fight Blaine. As I mentioned, I probably could have done this earlier. I resist his fire moves and his normal type moves, so Aerodactyl's in a pretty good spot here. On my first attempt, I get confused at the Ninetales and take way too much damage. I don't have really any health left at this point, only 7 hit points. I do barely make it to Arcanine, but there's really no way I can take it out, and I have to reset and try this again. I teach Mimic for this fight so I can take Confuse Ray. I do this so I can use it against Arcanine to maybe make it a little less consistent at the end of the fight. Actually seems like a pretty good tactic because it hits itself a couple of times and then goes down without dealing a lot of damage to Aerodactyl. And that finally gets us our special boost, and then we can head to the final gym battle against Giovanni. This is one of the fights where Aerodactyl really needs Mimic. Dugtrio can't really do a lot against me, so I could steal Earthquake from it. The other option is to steal Double Team from Persian, which is a great strategy in order to dodge the Thunder and Rock Slide from the rest of his team. It takes a minute to set this up, but it gives me a lot of badge boosts, which is nice. I get my defense dropped though, so I know that if I get hit, I could take a lot of damage. I am dealing a lot of damage as well, and because of that, Aerodactyl can take out both Persian and Nidoqueen, but then I level up and lose my badge boosts, which makes me take more damage against Nidoking, and then I get really unlucky for the Rock Slide and get taken out by Rhydon. On my second attempt, I try the Earthquake strategy instead. Aerodactyl has great stats, it just depends on my luck against the Nidos and their Thunder. If I can get to the Rhydon with enough health, I think I have a chance. A huge Thunder from Nidoking really hurts and takes me down below half health, which is not great because the Rhydon is going to deal a lot of damage, but then I get a crit, and Giovanni uses a guard spec. That wonderful, trustworthy strategy to always throw a fight. After that goofy win, I can head back to Cerulean in order to go to the power plant. Here, there's one more rare candy, which is nice to have, especially for the Pokemon that need a lot of experience, like Aerodactyl. After picking that up, we can head to fight Blue on Route 22 before the Elite Four. To get ready for this fight, I used a few rare candies to get up to level 54. This is because I want Hyper Beam in order to take out Jolteon. This is easily Aerodactyl's best move since I will outspeed, and if I knock out the opponent, it actually doesn't recharge in Gen 1. So it could be a really easy way to sweep a team. Sandslash is really not a problem at the beginning of this team. I resist all of its moves. I can also knock out Execute with Fly every time. Ninetales could maybe be annoying, but I should be able to take it out with either Fly or Hyper Beam. Okay, apparently not Fly, maybe just Hyper Beam then. And now I have Fire Blast for the Cloyster. It does a ton of damage with the crit, and makes it so it's much easier to get past this thing. After that, Kadabra is still very easy, and then Jolteon does go down from Hyper Beam. So my plan is working so far. But that does mean it's time to head to the Indigo League and start the 5 hardest battles of the run. I head into Lorelei's room at level 56, after getting a few levels in Victory Road. I do have a few more rare candies if I need them. I'm going to try to use Fly in order to get Dugong to use Rest, because while it's sleeping I can easily knock it out. Unless I miss Hyper Beam and take a ton of damage from Bubble Beam, that's not great. Fire Blast looks like it's going to 2-hit Cloyster, but its Ice Beam hits really hard. In fact, as expected, Lorelei is the hardest trainer in this entire run. I don't really have anything helpful to Mimic on her team until I get to Slowbro, where I can steal Amnesia, but if I get to Slowbro at too low of health, I'll take too much damage from its Surf. Slowbro does have a 50-50 chance though of using Surf or Withdraw, so if I can get to Slowbro and it can use Withdraw instead of Surf, I can steal Amnesia, take less damage. I don't have any recovery options, but if I have at least decent health, I could maybe take it out, and then Jinx is no problem because it has low defense. But Lapras is the real scary one here. I take a total of 9 resets against Lorelei. It feels like everything can go wrong here for a lot of Pokemon, and luck plays a huge factor in this because you can get frozen, you can have your attack dropped with Aurora Beam, or you can get crit with Clamp and just take tons of damage. After 25 resets, I do figure out that I could use Fire Blast into Hyper Beam to take out Dugong with no problem. After that, I do need some luck against Cloyster, and if I get past, I can set up against Slowbro, take it out, and Jinx, and with full setup, I have enough special to take out Lapras with a single hit from Fire Blast. Now that is not the prettiest way to get through that fight, but we finally made it through. After that, there's a hiker that you would think might be a problem because of my typing, but no, he just seems to be here just to take up some extra time. Maybe he's just hanging out in here. I don't know how he got in here though. I guess his name's Bruno? Huh. Anyway, after him, we have Agatha. I do have Mimic on my moveset, so I could steal Substitute and set up in order to be a little bit more consistent in this fight. I don't think I need it because Fly from Aerodactyl is going to knock out most of her Pokemon in basically a single hit. I don't think I want to take the time to go any slower than I have to at this point. I'm trying to get under an hour and 30 minutes. I do take 1 reset against the Gengar that she switches in last second. After dealing with a little bit of wrapping from Arbok, I can knock it out and get to Gengar, who actually goes down to a single critical hit. That means Aerodactyl is level 60 and it can prepare for the battle against Lance. Here, Gyarados can be really scary. Its Hydro Pump will hit really hard. The combined special from Gyarados in Gen 1 is really intimidating. I tried to test if Hyper Beam had any chance to knock it out in a single hit. Definitely not, unless I get a crit. So I guess what I need is either to survive one Hydro Pump, which is possible, or just have it miss, which happens in the next fight. From here, Hyper Beam knocks out the dragons fairly easily. I can mimic Ice Beam, which is very nice for the rest of the fight, and then I get frozen. And I think the game felt bad for that because the next fight, Gyarados misses its Hydro Pump again. That was extremely lucky, but the freeze was also very unlucky, so that's fair. I do the same strategy, steal Ice Beam, use it against Dragonair, and it doesn't do enough, which is not great, but then I can take it out because Lance heals it, and then Ice Beam takes out his Aerodactyl and Dragonite in one hit. And then here, I make a devastating mistake. I teach Rest in the place of Mimic. I didn't know it at the time, and this was my planned strategy. I have Fly for Exeggutor, Hyper Beam for Alakazam and for Jolteon, and Fire Blast for Cloyster. I thought I was set up to win this. On my first attempt, it goes very well. I can take out Kadabra, no problem. I do get hit by Leech Seed because I can't quite take out Exeggutor, which is a little annoying. I get to Cloyster and I don't deal enough damage with Fire Blast, then I get frozen again. When I go back in, I can go all the way to the Ninetales, which I can take out. Its Confuse Ray is a little annoying, but it always seems to use it, so as long as I don't hit myself in confusion, it should be fine. Unfortunately, it does mean that I can go into Jolteon confused, and if I hit myself, it's just game over. After another couple of losses to Cloyster, which is bound to happen in this fight, I finally can get to Jolteon, use Hyper Beam, and it survives on a sliver of health. That is not the plan. So Hyper Beam doesn't actually knock out Jolteon. Now I'm in a bad place, because Fly is definitely not going to do it, and Fire Blast is even worse. So what do I do here? I guess I wait for a crit? I get a total of 12 resets, all the way up to 40 resets in this fight, trying to figure this out. And I think, outside of some crazy luck, getting me to Jolteon, not getting paralyzed, getting a crit, all of it lining up, it's like a 1 in 100 shot to make this fight work. I am, however, able to go back and fix this mistake if I wanted to. So let's take a look at what it would look like if I hadn't taught Rest. If I didn't teach Rest, I would still have Mimic. This I could use against Sandslash to steal Earthquake. Sandslash can't do a lot of damage to me, so it doesn't really matter. Fire Blast will easily take it out without a problem, unless I miss a couple of times, and then Hyper Beam works too. Hyper Beam is great against Alakazam because it takes a lot from physical moves. I can always take out Exeggutor since it basically will only use Leech Seed. Earthquake then one-hits both Ninetales and Jolteon. So with the correct moveset, I would take out the champion in a single attempt with a total game time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 22 seconds, and a game time of 4 hours and 37 minutes with 28 total resets. That does mean it beats Omanyte's time by a few minutes, but it's not really any more consistent, unfortunately. Aerodactyl did its best, but I think there's some major improvements we could see for this thing, and maybe I should do a run with some of those changes in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more weekly Pokemon content. Keep an eye out for live streams and shorts, but in the meantime, have a wonderful day.